She's over there, in that old barn at the end. The stable boy pointed at the row of stables, and Bill made his way down. He had seen the ad: horse for sale, low price. That's all it said. Bill had been thinking of buying a horse for his daughter for some time, so it seemed like a good place to start. He walked past the first row of stables. Horses' heads appeared at the doorway. They twitched their ears and snorted at him. Their neatly trimmed manes and carefully combed coats shone in the sunlight. As he continued walking, the next three stables remained empty. Bill got to the last one and peered in. The inside of the old barn was in near total darkness, but what light there was flickered off the house inside. He stepped inside the doorway, and the horse snorted loudly and let out a short, angry whinny. Bill stayed where he was, careful not to make any sudden movements and cause the horse any alarm. A couple of seconds passed, and Bill took another step inside the barn. His eyes adjusted to the darkness, and he could now see that the horse was all white. Its white mane shone in the small rays of light that made their way into the barn. "What's your name then?" said Bill, keeping his voice low and quiet. The horse shook its body in response and snorted through its nose. It stamped one of its hooves on the ground. The inside of the barn was so dark, but Bill could make out the outline of the horse's face, its two eyes like black coals. He took a small step closer into the barn, keeping his movements slow and soft. Outside, he had seen the name Scarlet on a small sign attached to the barn. "Your name's Scarlet, isn't it?" he said. He made every effort to keep his voice as gentle as he could. He slowly reached out his hand to the horse's neck, but before his hand could make contact, the horse shook its mane and stamped its hooves on the ground. "It's a waste of time going near that one." Bill turned to see the stable boy at the barn door. "She won't let anyone near her. We might have to ship her off to the glue factory." He gave Bill a sharp upward nod and disappeared. The horse quietened down as soon as he left. Bill didn't move but spoke gently to the horse again. "That's not true, is it? They won't do that to you." He reached out his hand again and this time touched the horse's neck. Her hair felt like silk. Bill stroked the side of the horse's neck and then reached up to slide his fingers off one of her ears. The horse let out a loud snuffle through her nostrils and twitched her ears in response. She was quiet and calm under the touch of Bill's hand. Bill stared at the horse's hair. She had a strange light upon her, like she was shining. He couldn't quite make out the strange feeling he had, but it was as if the horse was emitting light from her body. Just then, a fly appeared inside the barn. It buzzed angrily at the wall and ceiling, then dived down to the white horse, its buzzing getting louder and angrier. The horse let out a neigh and jolted. She kicked up her hooves and her body rose up inside the small space of the barn. As she reared up, two huge wings of gold appeared from her back. Bill staggered back and fell into some hay in the corner of the barn. He stared in disbelief at the sight before his eyes. The horse's coat shone under the light from her golden wings. She shook the two wings, and sparks of gold and silver flickered from them and bounced off the walls of the barn. The flies buzzing rose up in pitch, no longer an angry sound, but one of absolute fear. It found the exit and flew outside. The horse stood before Bill and was still for a moment. Her two wings held high above her body. She looked majestic. Then, a few moments later, the horse's wings folded and slid against her body, disappearing from view. The horse looked like any other horse again, just a white horse inside an old barn, waiting for someone to buy her. Bill managed to get to his feet and stared back at the horse. What did he just see? This horse was beautiful, a magical horse.